Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today, if you weren't aware, DICE released their Battlefield 4 multiplayer trailer. They used a lot of gameplay footage from their past trailers, like Siege of Shanghai and Paracel Storm, but there was also some new stuff which showcased a bunch of the new maps that we've never seen before, some new features, and just some stuff that I think you guys will find very interesting. At least I did. And so, the first thing that I have here is of a new map. We don't actually know what it's called yet, because they haven't given us the details, but I have dubbed it the Observatory. And the reason why I call it this is because it's actually a real-life observatory. You can visit there if you want. It's located in Puerto Rico, and it is essentially a gigantic radio telescope. And what's cool about this map is that it looks like it's going to feature every single type of gameplay that you can want. If you want to be down on the ground in a tank capturing the objectives around the giant dome, you can do so. If you want to be up in the sky in a jet or a helicopter, it will also have that type of combat. But if you also want to play as an infantry and you want that close quarter type of gameplay, then underneath the dome looks like it's going to be the place to be. Not only that, but they also give us a nice little glimpse at the Levolution that's going to be featured on this map as well, and it takes the form of that gigantic structure over the dome. We don't know exactly how it's going to influence the map, like on Siege of Shanghai when you take down the entire skyscraper. It literally changes the way that you approach taking that one objective. So it's kind of hard to say if this is going to influence it as much as it does in Siege of Shanghai, but you can definitely take it down. We're not sure exactly how you do it yet. It's probably got to do something with the cables. Maybe if you go on a flank run in one of the jets, maybe you can loosen them up and then it will eventually fall. Kind of hard to say, but you can take it down. The next map is Gold Mud Railways, and this looks like it is going to be just gigantic. It's got 7 different capture points that you can take, and it looks like this is going to be very vehicle-centered. It got a lot of open space. There are a couple of buildings here and there, but what it really reminds me of is the Armored Kill DLC, where if you're not in a vehicle, you can perform reasonably well, but it's very vehicle-centered, and that's just kind of the vibe that I got. I mean, they were showcasing, just tanks all over the place. There's jets up in the sky. If you like vehicle-centered combat, Gold Mud Railways is going to be the map for you. But what's also really cool is that, at least from what we've seen in the trailer, is that DICE is going to have the 2 different types of jets in here as well. If you weren't aware, DICE is really trying to define the roles between a stealth jet, which is air-to-air, and then the attack jet, which is air-to-ground. And they're going to have different customization options. They're going to have different types of weapons in their arsenal. But a lot of people were thinking that it was going to be like it is in Battlefield 3, where the attack jet is going to be on game modes like Rush, and then the stealth jets would all be on Conquest. But from the trailer, it's not confirmed by any means, but from what we've seen, it kind of looks like both types of jets are going to be on Conquest. So you're going to have a stealth jet, only one, and then the other one is going to be an attack jet. And if that is the case, I really like the direction that DICE is taking with it. It's going to change up the way that air combat works. You're going to have the stealth jets kind of clearing the skies for everyone else, not only helicopters, but also for now this air-to-ground jet. I like it. It sounds really cool. I cannot wait to see if this is confirmed. The next map is Operation Locker, and this is pretty much just infantry focused. You're going to see a lot of high rate of fire weapons on here. Everyone's going to be using their hip fire machines of death to take people out, and it's pretty much going to be everything that we have in the close quarter maps, where it's very tight-knit corridors. Everything is extremely up close and personal, up in your face kind of combat, and yeah, basically the close quarter DLC. But what I really like about it is that just because it's small and that these maps aren't going to be gigantic, it doesn't mean that there isn't going to be significant amount of destruction. The close quarter maps were great with the HD and micro destruction flying all over the place. Like, you can take down the plaster when you're shooting through the walls. It's really cool to see. But it's also really nice that they are going to have some sort of destruction in there that's also going to change the way that the map plays out. You guys know, Siege of Shanghai, you take down the tower, it influences the way that you can approach taking that objective, but there's also a mini tower, it looks like, in this prison. I don't know exactly why this tower is so small or why it's in the middle of the prison, but you can take it down. There's even a soldier in there. As it crumbles to the ground, he's about to die by all the rubble around him. He actually looks like a really cool animation in there as well. So it's really cool to see that there isn't just going to be the HD and micro destruction that we had in the close quarter DLC for Battlefield 3, but there's also going to be significant levolution on the small maps as well. we also get a glimpse at a urban map that is going to be heavily influenced by Levolution. It's going to start off like any urban environment where you're going to have tanks on the ground, you're going to have jeeps to get you from point A to point B, but if someone takes out the levee or the dam, the map gets flooded with water. And at that point, well, of course, you're not going to be able to use a tank at that point, but there will be attack boats and transport boats to now get you to the different objectives. It's kind of hard to say if these examples are all from one map, because one section of it looks very pristine, it looks very high tech, but then the other example that we have here, it kind of looks really run down and grungy. So these could be just two different maps. Maybe one is centered around a dam, and then the other one is centered around a levee breaking, but it's clear that DICE is really trying to incorporate naval combat into pretty much every single one of their maps. They don't want it just to be a gimmicky thing or a one-time deal like just on Paracel Storm or a very small section of Siege of Shanghai. They want this to be a huge part of the battlefield experience where you're not just always in tanks or up in the sky in a jet, but you're taking advantage of all of these new awesome naval vehicles. So that was about it for all of the new maps that we saw during the trailer, but now I want to get to something that I think you guys will find very interesting, and that is the prospect of jets having dumb bombs. A lot of people were hoping that dumb bombs were going to be integrated into Battlefield 4, and the news that DICE is going to have a more defined role for the attack jets being air to ground, people were thinking that dumb bombs were going to be added into the game, but we didn't have any confirmation. But now with this trailer, there's this one section that I want to showcase to you, and I'm going to kind of slow it down and kind of rewind it and kind of go back and forth so we can see what's going on. And what it looks like is that the jet is either firing a missile or he's dropping some sort of bomb onto these tanks. And I want to say it's a bomb because a missile would launch forward, like it's got a propulsion system and it's going to fly away from the jet and it's not going to stay at the same acceleration or same velocity that the jet is flying. But this keeps the same velocity and it kind of slowly falls towards the ground. It's only very brief, so it's kind of hard to say if it definitively is a bomb, but this could be the very first glimpse of dead bombs in Battlefield 4. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what map you are most excited to play on. I cannot wait to get my hands on the Observatory or whatever they decide to name it. It looks like an absolute blast. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.